What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got a major news brewing. We got a major fight brewing. And that's former unified three-belt WBA, WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Errol the Truth Spence Jr., who is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence is a southpaw. He's a high-volume fighter. He's a durable fighter. Errol Spence was top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world before suffering his first and only loss, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, to Terence Bud Crawford. But another fighter was in action. And Errol Spence responded to this other fighter. And the lane is wide open to make a fight happen between said fighter and Errol Spence. Why is the lane wide open? Because Errol Spence, he had an immediate rematch clause in the negotiation for Terence Crawford fight, but it ran its course. And it seems like we're not going to get the rematch. Terence Crawford, he's dropped Errol Spence in the second round, twice in the 7th round, and stopped him in the 9th round. Terence Crawford now 40 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout, 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terence Crawford, they had an immediate rematch. Errol Spence, he stated that he suffered a cataract over his eye that hindered his vision going into the Crawford fight. He also suffered a broken rib going into the Crawford fight that seen him not properly be able to prepare, not train correctly a month out from the fight. He didn't get the injections cleared till a week before the fight, and he felt slightly weight drained. With that said, Terence Crawford wasn't happy. Now, they fought July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada. It looked like they was going to rematch December since Errol Spence immediately activated the rematch clause. But what took place is Showtime decided to get out the business of the sport of boxing after 37 years, which left the premier boxing champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman and PBC, the stable of fighters and the brand, in limbo. They had to find a new home. So that pushed it back. Then they found a new home. They got a partnership and a deal and a distribution deal with Amazon and Amazon Prime. Now they'll be featured on Amazon Prime, right? But the problem is Errol Spence decided to have eye surgery in January, which again, it's a 6 to 8 week recovery period. Then he obviously has to have 8 weeks training camp. So that's a 4 months. So you say January, February, March, April, May. He won't be ready to June. Terence Crawford turns 37 in September. Terence Crawford doesn't want to wait. And now it seems like the contract has ran its course. And now the reports is because of the eye injury and other things factoring in, Terence Crawford is moving on from the rematch. It looks like Terence Crawford could get an opportunity of a career against Canelo Alvarez to create history. That's for another video. But with that said, another welterweight was in action that Errol Spence, he weighed in on, gave his opinion. And that's British welterweight superstar title contender, the son of a legend, Nigel Benn, that is Conor Benn. Okay? Conor Benn is 23 wins, no loss, no draw, 14 wins by way of knockout, 27 years of age, 5'8", with a 70-inch arm reach. He was in action against Pistol Pete Dobson, who was undefeated, and Conor Benn won a unanimous decision. But Pistol Pete was in the shoulder roll, and he was counterpunching Conor Benn. Bang! Uppercuts. Bang! Bang! Now, Conor Benn, as he states, he's on a tour within the United States. But the problem is, he's on a tour in the United States because Conor Benn tested positive for a banned substance in the UK, and he's suspended. He can't fight in the UK. He doesn't have a license. UCOD has suspended him. So the United States is allowing him to fight, so he's staying active. With that said, he had a fight in September. Now he had a fight this year, right? So he's staying active. So Errol Spence weighed in on his performance. And Errol Spence said, for one, who fights at this time of the day in the United States? They fought about, in Vegas, it was about 2:30 in the afternoon. In New York, it was 5:30 because in the UK, it's 10:30. You understand? So Conor Benn was catering to his fan base in the UK, not here in the States. And so with that said, Errol Spence wasn't happy. Errol Spence said, who fights at this time of the day? And then Errol Spence said, and on top of that, it was an egg of a performance. You laid an egg. But he said, exactly, right? He laid an egg. And Conor Benn, he responded. And he said, listen, fella, I'm paraphrasing. He says, you doing a bunch of talking. You don't have the rematch with Terence Crawford. He says, fight me next, and I'll close the other eye, you blessed guy. I'm paraphrasing, right? So Conor Benn, he says, fight me next, and I'll close the other eye for you. And I thought about it. Conor Benn's last two fights have been 150 or 150 or above, right? Errol Spence is struggling with 147. He's no longer the champion. Not going to get the Terence Crawford fight. Conor Benn is on a tour here in the States. He can't fight in the UK. Things to make you go, Errol Spence versus Conor Benn. Errol Spence needs a fight. He don't typically take tune-ups, as he stated. He don't do tune-ups. And since Conor Benn just fought, he's going to rest for at least 2 months, and then he'll need 2 months of training camp, which means the time frame for Errol Spence to get back in the ring will be about June, is about the time frame that Conor Benn would plan to get back in the ring. This would be a fantastic fight for Errol Spence. And this will be the step-up name Conor Benn is searching for. Both make sense. They come together and they make magic. Why? Because, you see, Errol Spence is seeking out to get back in the ring, to dust off that performance he had against Terence Crawford, to show that he's still Errol Spence. But who's he going to fight? Conor Benn is undefeated. Conor Benn doesn't have the marquee name on his resume. This makes for a massive fight. It makes for a massive fight. Because, in a sense, they both need each other. Conor Benn is typically used to fighting in front of large crowds in the UK, but he can't fight in the UK. Errol Spence needs a marquee name, but a get-back fight. Right? You're not going to get Terence Crawford. Are you going to fight Jerron Boots Ennis? More than likely not. Right? You go to 54, you're going to fight Jamel Charlo? More than likely not. Are you going to fight Keith Thurman? No. Tim Tszyu, not available. So who are you going to fight if you're Errol Spence? Conor Benn is the perfect opponent. And it's the perfect opponent stylistically for Errol Spence. And it's the perfect opponent stylistically for Conor Benn, because he's not going to have to look for Errol Spence. And Errol Spence is not going to have to look for Conor Benn. So Errol Spence has an extremely high work rate. Conor Benn has an extremely high work rate. This is a match made in heaven. A big fight. Entertaining fight. And it makes sense for both guys, financially and career-wise. If Conor Benn could beat Errol Spence, well, that's a marquee name. If Errol Spence comes back, fights and beats Conor Benn, that's a marquee name. That's a solid get-back victory. to get back in the dub column for Errol Spence and get that train back on track to where he wants to be. It just makes sense all the way around the board. And because you have two guys, this style matchup is just going to be entertaining. It's can't miss. It's can't miss. Absolutely can't miss. Again, Terence Crawford is looking to fight Canelo Alvarez in September. Keith Thurman is fighting Tim Tszyu in March. Jamel Charlo is not going to fight Errol Spence. Is Errol Spence going to fight Jerron Boots Ennis? Because he don't do tune-ups. He already beat Danny Garcia. Who's he going to fight? Virgil Ortiz Jr.? He's moving up to 160. So who exactly is Errol the True Spence Jr. going to fight? Conor Benn makes the perfect sense for Errol Spence Jr. Perfect sense. And they're already going back and forth. It makes sense. Now, stylistically, I'm going to give Errol Spence the edge in this fight. He's been there on this stage. Errol Spence is going to make money. Conor Benn is going to make money. It's a big marquee fight for both guys. And with that said, Conor Benn showed me when Pete Dobson was countering him on the inside, landing the overhand right, the straight right hand, doubling the jab, followed by the right hand. He was susceptible to that. And he was susceptible to uppercuts. And his work rate on the inside, he looks at the floor. But so that works and that plays into Errol Spence's hands. And on the flip side of that, Conor Benn lands overhand rights that Errol Spence is susceptible to. Conor Benn comes down the pipe with a straight right hand, bang, that Errol Spence is susceptible to. Conor Benn has a very good jab. I won't say a great jab, but he has a very good jab. Errol Spence was susceptible to that. So it only makes sense. It only makes sense. Let's see it. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.